Hey, welcome back to Hillbilly Hippie Honeybees, West Virginia's premium honey. I'm Clint Baker, and my brother, he is on vacation today, and we're actually taking a little bit of break here this week. We try to get everything caught up. It's Memorial Weekend, and just trying to take a little bit of break. The weather has been nasty here in West Virginia. It's been raining a lot here the past few days, and looks like for the next few more days, 4 or 5 days, we're probably supposed to get more rain on and off. But that doesn't keep us from working in the bees, right? That doesn't keep us from planning the next step. So today what we would like to give you is 10 things that you need to stay on top of as you go into June and throughout June here in the state of West Virginia. And plus, there's a lot of things that we are experiencing in West Virginia this year that it's been a while since we've experienced. Some things blooming early, the weather, lots of different things. We'd also like to take the time to thank all the new subscribers that have come on board. We are very humbled and overwhelmed with the support that you all have shown us and given us. But we do see that there's a lot of folks that watch the channel that haven't subscribed yet. So what we would really like to ask you to do is subscribe, like the video if you like it, and hit the notification button so that you can be notified whenever we have more content coming out. So stick around. We thank you again. We're humbled, we're blessed, and let's see what we got in store today. Beekeeping in June in the state of West Virginia is pretty daggum critical. Why? Because we're coming to the peak and start into that peak of the honey flow season. But it doesn't mean you can just sit around and watch the bees do all the work. You got to get out there and do things yourself, and you got to be planning ahead, right? That's one thing as a beekeeper you always need to be doing, is planning ahead and trying to see what is that next step we need to do. So again, we're going to go over 10 things today that you need to be staying on top of in June so that you won't fall behind come the important time whenever you're going to start harvesting honey and start getting them ready for that fall push so that they'll be good, healthy, and strong for the winter months ahead. So I know it's hot. I know the weather's up and down here in the state right now as far as rain and humidity and all that, but we got to stay on top of things in June. Number one, you need to stay ahead of the honey supers. So your colonies are going to start producing a lot of honey and nectar and bringing in nectar fast during June, and you need to stay on top of that. So you need to be in your colonies checking for that every 7 to 10 days and making sure that you're not running out of space for the bees. All right, are your frames getting heavier? Are the bees getting crowded on the top super? So if you open up the top of a box and they are just slam packed full in there, and this is during the daytime, so think about what's happening during the night. You need to likely put another super or two on top of them. Are they pulling and drawing fresh comb? That means that they are continuing to make honey, and they sense that there's going to be a continual flow of nectar coming in. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you're looking at this and getting on top of it. A good rule of thumb is if you open it up, and even if there's no bees in there, just kidding, there should be bees in there, but 7 full capped, put another super on top, all right? And then that way that'll keep them from running out of room. So this is part of swarm control too, because once they start running out of room, even though swarm season's rolling down here in the end of June, or in the June season, if they start running out of room, they're going to likely swarm again. So again, let's stay on top of getting ahead of things with the honey supers and getting those on top. Probably one of the most critical things you want to do. So just think about it. You don't like to be crowded at home, right? So they don't want to be crowded either. Number 2, back to the swarming. You need to continue to check for the swarm cells, especially if you've kind of laxed a little bit and had maybe you've went 14 days or 21 days or whatever. You need to get in there and you need to check and see, is there any swarm cells? And you can do that really quick just by flipping up the bottoms of the brood chambers and looking at the bottom of them. Sometimes you don't catch them all that way, but that's a quick check to be able to see if there's any swarm cells. Again, looking at how full is the hive on congestion. Yeah, it's a good sign that you may need to do that check for them, right? Another thing you're looking for to help with swarm control during this time of the year, and this is what got us last fall with the losses that we had in that new bee yard that we have. Make sure you're looking for any backfill in the brood chamber. And what do I mean by that? So what I mean by that is that you, as the brood hatch, are they backfilling with nectar, and are they backfilling with bee bread, pollen and bee bread? If they are, that's a good sign that they are running smack out of room, and you might want to stack a couple extra supers on top there, and then hopefully they'll move all that up as during the night when they don't have a lot to do, or in the evenings, or on these rainy days when they can't get out and do a whole lot. So make sure that, because again, that reduces laying space for the queen. She's not going to continue to lay as much, so your strength of your colony is going to go down. That can create a lot of other issues during this time of the year. So add space. Maybe you need to make a couple late splits to control how much space they have in there. If you've got any comb that you've spun out, honey that you spun out down in the deep chamber, that's one way you can do it. You can grab those side edge honey, the ones that are full of honey, the frames that are full of honey, and you can spin those out, drop them back down in there. That's another quick way you can do it. Also, remove, you can, like if you have really strong colonies and you have colonies like this that are weaker, you can pull some of the brood that's in the strong colony and equalize it and put it over into the weaker colony to help with that. So these are big helps during this time of the year to help with the swarm control. Again, they should be slowing down on that, but if they get crowded, they will swarm again. We've seen it happen way too many times. So that's number 2. Number 3, this is probably one of the most overlooked tasks during this time of the year, and that is starting to look heavily at your Varroa mite maintenance. All right, I know this is a touchy subject for some folks. Some folks say don't treat. Some folks say treat every month. Again, we'll go back to talking about, do you treat your dogs for fleas? Do you treat your chickens for mites? Do you treat your cattle for flies, different things like that, things that spread disease, right? And so bees are farm animals just like anything else, and if you want to look at it like that. And so set you a goal, right? Or set you a line of, this is what we want it to be at. Ours is about 2.53% in that area is what we want. So what you need to do is you need to do those alcohol washes and do those, you know, every few, once a month is probably good, but maybe every couple weeks, depending on how bad of an infestation you have. Check those mite counts, you know, make sure that you have a plan created for if your threshold is above your 2.5 to 3% or whatever you set it at, and make sure that you stay on this particular plan that you have in place. And you may have to adjust it some as you go through the season. We've had to multiple times, you know, colonies and yards that the year before didn't have a lot of mite infestation in them. Well, the next year they did. So you can't, notes are great, and you need to be following, you know, trends that you have and things of that nature in your notes, but you also, as we've talked in the past, each colony and each yard is totally different, all right? So again, mite management, if you have a lot of mites, it's going to do a few things. It's going to affect your honey production, it's going to help affect your fall bee health, and it's going to affect your winter survival. So those are things that it will affect if you've got high mite counts. So you've got to make that choice on whether you want to, you know, lose bees to mites, lose honey production to mites. Don't let others make that for you, all right? You've got to set your own goals for that. Number 4, 4 horsemen. You older folks probably know what I'm talking about. but 4 horsemen. No, I'm just kidding. So number 4. All right, so watch for your nectar flow. Watch your main nectar flows. And in West Virginia, our main nectar flows are clover, tulip poplar, basswood, sumac, and knotweed during June. All right, now I'm gonna tell you, we've been seeing this as a common thread, not just in West Virginia, but even down south and up north. It seems like the blooms and nectar flows are early this year. And so, for example, tulip poplar around here where our bee yards are, especially in West Virginia, tulip poplar has already bloomed out or been washed out. So you can't expect the tulip poplar bloom. The wild blackberry, it is in the same boat. All right, some areas we're seeing it, but most of it's already bloomed out and berries are already starting to form. Sumac, the first round start, David's a truck driver and he has seen, as he's been driving around in our area, he's been seeing the first round of sumac blooming. So that normally doesn't start until a little later on, all right? Basswood, knotweed, these are things that you need to be looking for. Now, you know, usually after these go through, we have a little bit of a dearth area. So why is this important? To make sure that you're checking the nectar flows and what's blooming in your area is because you may end up having to supplement feed them. You know, make sure that you pull the honey that you're going to extract first, but you may have to do some extraction and do some supplemental feeding to get them through those hot parts of summer. All right. Signs of a strong flow, again, are white wax production. They're pulling more comb, heavy nectar coming in and out. You see them working from sun up until sundown. All right, and that's busy as a bee, right? And so they'll be working in and out all day long. So make sure you're watching that. Make sure you're watching what's going on in your area, because West Virginia is very unique. We are all Appalachian Mountains, and every area is a little bit different, right? I've got friends up north of West Virginia that they're saying, well, ours hasn't started blooming yet. And I get that because they got a little higher elevation. So you got to be paying attention to your area. Don't be paying attention to me and everybody else on here thinking, well, I live here, it should be exactly the same. It may not be, all right? Number 5, you want to equalize your colonies. So what do we mean by equalizing your colonies? Well, you're going to have some colonies that are really strong, and this is part of your swarm control and such, but they're going to be really strong. They're going to have a lot of brood in them, a lot of bees getting ready to hatch. You're going to have a lot of bees in there working, foragers, all different levels. But you're also going to have some that have probably been lagging behind a little bit. We've seen those. Good example for us is the ones that we brought back from up north when we went to Greg Burns's and bought some packages. Some of them are doing great. Some of them are lagging behind a little bit. And it's not that they're bad bees, that's just what's in their genetics. So be paying attention to that and equalize by moving some of the brood again from the stronger colonies into the weaker colonies. Balance out the reserves like the stores, the bee bread, the honey, those types of things. That way they can focus on other things, or the weaker hives can. And maybe even you have to balance out your yards. And what I mean by that is let's say you got one yard that's, man, it's just every one of them in there are producing a lot of honey and a lot of bees, and this one over here is not producing a lot of honey and a lot of bees. Well, maybe you need to take, let's say there's 10 in each, maybe you need to take 5 of each and swap them out. So that's an equalization that a lot of folks don't think about whenever they're trying to produce honey and produce bees and all these different things. So think about that as you are thinking about, what do I need to do to equalize my colonies to make sure they're good and healthy, all right? Because good, strong, healthy hives prevent some other things that we're getting ready to talk about. So number 6, the strong colonies, they help with the pest control, all right? So they'll help with the small hive beetles, they'll help with wax moths, keep them out, ants, other critters. that might get in there and play havoc on the colony. So a good strong colony will help you manage that a lot better, okay? So get in there and see the numbers, see what's going on, and then get out there and allow them and help them defend themselves against predators and against, you know, like I said, the pests and things that can cause issues within the hive, like, you know, different disease, things of that nature. Also, they'll help keep out other pests like wasps and hornets and things like that we can get in there and create all kinds of havoc in the hive. So number 6 again is watch for the pests that are in there. Number 7. So number 7 is ventilation. So in West Virginia, it gets, like, this week's a perfect example. It has been 90 degrees one day, the next day it's in the 60s and raining, and then the next day it's 90 degrees and raining, and then it's sunshiny like it is right now, but the clouds are overhead and it's supposed to rain here at about 2:30, 3 o'clock. And it's humid out here today. So think about you sitting outside under a shade tree, how you feel. How do they feel with 60 to 80,000 bees inside of a closed box like that? And how are they? So are they bearding? Do you see a lot of them outside fanning, trying to keep things warm inside? Or I mean, not warm, cool inside. We don't want it to be warm, do we? But maybe make sure that open up the entrances all the way, all right? If you like screen bottom boards, this would be a good time to pull those screen bottoms, the solid part of the screen bottom board out, and let them start breathing in there better. Maybe slightly prop the top of the lid open. And so how do you do that? So you can popsicle sticks. Hey, you're trying to beat the heat too, right? So popsicle sticks. Go in, have you a popsicle, you take that stick, break it, it's the thickness, and put in there. Just prop that inner lid open just a little bit. That'll give them just enough to let airflow flow through, all right? Old timers used to use pennies, but pennies nowadays, I don't think people want to use them because they've, you know, quit making them, and that might be more costly than just one penny, okay? You can also use little rocks, little twigs, whatever it takes just to prop it open just a little bit. That gives them an upper entrance in and out as well, so that if you've got hopefully 10 super sitting on top, that gives them a quicker in and out entrance and exit for that as well. So make sure you're looking at the ventilation during June, July, August, from here on until we hit fall, okay? And then make sure that we are getting that done, because that not only helps keep the hive cool, but it helps with honey curing, and it helps with brood health, and it also helps with reducing bearding outside. So those are some things that it helps with inside of the hive, is good ventilation. So make sure you're looking for that. All right, so number 8, what is number 8? Avoid overusing your smoker, okay? This time of the year, during the honey flow, that just aggravates the bees more, doing that. Normally during a honey flow anyway, they are more interested in the work that's going on inside the hive than you. It's the exact opposite than what it is inside whenever you got a dearth going on. Most of the time you can tell when a honey flow ends and a dearth begins by how aggravated the bees are when you open up the top of the box, right? So don't use your smoker as much. A couple other reasons why you don't want to use the smoker as much is that can absorb into the honey and give the honey a little bit of a smoke taste. And especially if you're like my wife and have a very good taste buds and can taste things like that. So just think about that when you're getting into them, that you don't necessarily have to smoke them all the time. Have the smoker going. I won't say don't have it going, because you may get in there and have some spicy bees that you need to knock them down and put them back in their place real quick, but use it as limited as you possibly can, all right? It also causes unnecessary stress on the bees during this time of the year. So again, use it and make sure that smoke is cool. All right. So again, number 8 was avoid using a smoker as much as possible. All right, so number 9, what are we talking about here on number 9? Well, you should start preparing for your honey harvest. It's right around the corner. If we're getting good honey flows or nectar flows and all during this time, you're going towards the end of June to beginning of July, you're going to want to start harvesting honey. That way, you know, you can have all that off for that little dearth time that you may have to do a little supplemental feeding. You know, during this time you want to get your equipment ready. You want to make sure that your extractor's ready, that your buckets are ready, clean, if you've got enough buckets. Are your filters good and ready and clean? Let's see, getting your escape boards ready, however you do that, whether it's, you know, to get the bees out of your supers, do you use escape boards? Do you use, like we do, we use a leaf blower. And it's a real strong leaf blower, blows them out of there. We do use a fume board as well, and then just use the leaf blower to blow out the rest. But that's what we do. Some people use the escape boards and they just go out, they set them on, come back a few days later, they're pretty much empty. All right, but preparation now, it does prevent a lot of chaos later on, right? You got to get a good plan together. And one thing we always forget when it comes to honey season, helpers. You're going to probably need some help if you've got, you know, more than 15, 20 hives, all right? And there's a lot of people out there that would love to help you. If you're mentoring somebody, they would like to come and help you, I'm sure, to learn all the tricks to this. How do you pay them? Normally we pay them by honey, or we'll buy them lunch, dinner, whatever's going on during that time, we'll do that as well. So, and then a lot of times, like I said, the ones that are you're mentoring, they just want to help and be there, and that's how they're getting paid, is by gaining the knowledge and seeing what you're doing wrong and seeing what you're doing right, and, you know, talking through it and asking questions. So that's very valuable to them. So again, try to get your list of folks together that's going to help you, because that is something that, you know, me and David at the beginning of all this, you know, when we got back into it, it was like, holy cow, we're out here by ourselves, just he and I, and we're lugging all this, you know, 45, 50 pound supers around, and they gets tiring after a while. And if you got just a little bit of help, sometimes, you know, 1 or 2 extra bodies is a lot. And especially when you get it back to the honey house, and then you need to start, you know, processing it. So you can set people up at stations, and then you're able to get things done a little bit quicker. So again, just think about that. Number 9 is preparing for your honey harvest. And number 10 is June is a very hot and humid month. Now, if you've got a lot of rain out there, it's one thing. If you've got ponds around, that's great. If you've got creeks around, that's awesome. But you need to make sure that they have good, accessible water sources, because if not, they're going to be, if you're in the city or close to the city, they're going to be visiting the neighbors' pools. Sometimes that's not such a great thing, right? They do love, it seems to me that the muddier and the nastier the water or the mud puddle or whatever it is, that's where the bees like to go. So if you live around a swamp, if it's dried up, then you're going to have to supply some more water for them. Livestock, like if you're on the farms, livestock troughs full of water. Just make sure you have something in there floating that they won't drown on. You've seen some of our videos in the past. My wife in our backyard, she's already converted the bird bath into a place for the honeybees to go and drink at, right? I'm looking at it right now, there's rocks in it, and there's all kinds of things that they can go land on and drink water, because they consume a lot of water during June, July, and August during the summer months. So make sure that you've got good water supply for them. Again, you could have a few extra water ponds or water fountains or whatever in your yard or around your patio. Then you can sit there on your patio and watch them go backwards and forwards. But those are the things that you need to do in the month of June, and to make sure that you're getting them done. All right. So go through and write these things down so that you'll have them. You'll be checking on it. That's Dixie. She's got something she wants to say too, and add to all this. I guess that's number 11, whatever she's saying, if you can speak dog. But anyway. All right, so let's just do a quick overview here. In June in West Virginia and the surrounding areas in our zone, you want to add supers before the hives start getting crowded and all that. All right. You want to continue swarm monitoring. You want to make sure that you don't have swarm cells and it's not overcrowded and things of that nature. You want to monitor your mites monthly. Say that 6 times as fast as you can. You want to improve ventilation in the hives so that they can control the temperature, and so that they can get the moisture out of the honey. You want to balance your strong colonies, make sure you're equalizing stuff. You want to watch for your beetles and your moths and all the things that weak hives sometimes can't fight off, especially in your weaker hives. You want to prepare harvest equipment, all that stuff for your honey harvest and all that. Get that stuff ready, see what you need to get up front, get a game plan together. And you want to maintain water sources, right, for them. So those are the things in June that if you start planting them at the beginning of June and doing them through June, it will pay off, I promise you. It'll pay off come honey production time, or whenever you're starting to rob your honey. It'll pay off come the dearth time, and it will start paying off as we go into fall, into the winter, so that you will go into those with low mite counts and with really strong, healthy colonies. Okay, and that's what we want you to do. And again, if you got a yard in a new area, you need to monitor it even closer. Don't do like we did last year and end up losing a whole yard of bees because you've moved them from one place that wasn't very good, and now they are really good, or a good area, vice versa, and you end up losing them because you were managing them the same way. So I hope this helps you. I know that this is something that David and I talked about that we probably need to start doing for especially the newer beekeepers. And so hopefully this helps you. If any of you more knowledgeable beekeepers than us, maybe there's something we forgot, put it below. Maybe there's something you do a little bit differently to help out the new beekeepers. Put it down below in the comments section. This is what this is all about, is helping others, helping the new folks, because it is a struggle, all right? And so right now is starting to become a very crucial time in beekeeping, and we just want to help you get through this time right now, okay? Well, again, we want to thank everybody that's been subscribing to our channel. We want you to continue to invite folks over. We see what we got. If there's things that you want us to go over that we haven't gone over or what have you, put them in the comments below as well, and we'll try to touch on those. And if we don't know what it is, we'll find somebody else to come in here and talk to you about it. We're okay with that. We're all about learning as well. So we thank you. We ask you to come back next time. God bless you, and have a blessed weekend.